Floyd Shivambu needs to grow, or he needs to be born again, or he needs to go and twasa, so that he can be able to humble himself to elders.
Allegedly. Oh, allegedly. My people, my people, my people.
There is war. That's the only way I can actually explain this, because what do you mean? We just witnessed political suicide in real time, okay? Welcome, my people, to allegedly. So, Nolubabalo, the fired deputy president of Afrika Mayibuye, just gave what might be one of the most disastrous interviews in South African political history, okay? At least that's according to me. And trust me, you need to see this train wreck from start to finish, because what she admits on camera, Haibo, will make your jaw drop. She wore MK Party's regalia to defend her Afrika Mayibuye position. Hey! She called her own leader a coward. She admitted on being led by emotions in senior leadership. Hey, kuningi man. And wait till you hear what she said about Floyd Shivambu needing to get possessed or become a sangoma.
Floyd Shivambu's newly formed Afrika Mayibuye movement has fired Nolubabalo Mjali-Gova as the party's first deputy president, citing political misconduct. The party says one of the reasons for Mjali-Gova's dismissal is her unsanctioned meeting with MK party leader Jacob Zuma. And Mjali-Gova is in our studio to talk about this. Good evening, and lovely to have you in our studio. The first thing I commented on was your outfit and the logo, which is the MK party's regalia. Why did you choose to wear that to this interview about Afrika Mayibuye?
Since I have been recalled, I decided to just wear my MK party regalia, because I was never really rejected by the MK party. So I'm a proud member of Unauthorized party.
Where do you stand with Afrika Mayibuye tonight? In preparing for this interview, we're referring to you as the former first deputy president. One of our viewers messaged and said, well, she's not the former, is it? So where do you stand with the Afrika Mayibuye party tonight in respect of this decision to fire you?
I regard myself still as the deputy president of Afrika Mayibuye movement, because the internal processes were not formally addressed. I just received a letter like 3 a.m. in the morning, and the next thing I was removed from WhatsApp groups, and they just sent me a termination letter without going through the right processes. So I regard myself as still the deputy president of Afrika Mayibuye movement until the internal processes follow what this book says it must follow. Because we have this book that we formulated, which is the Afrika Mayibuye Restoration Manifesto, that says when such things happen in the organization, disciplinary processes will take place, and such didn't take place. So I am still the first deputy president of Afrika Mayibuye movement.
And as the first deputy president, in your mind still, what roles and responsibilities do you expect to continue to fulfill till this process, as you say, is completed?
All right. According to the letter that I received from the Secretary General, I'm not supposed to be taking any responsibilities as the first deputy president. So I'm just waiting for the hearing to take place. So I'm just not doing anything. So for the time being, since I'm a freedom fighter, I'll rather be an activist for Unauthorized for the time being until Afrika Mayibuye movement do what it says it will do.
But if in your mind, because, you know, and maybe you can just refresh our viewers, I've been reading the developments around this, and you consider yourself a member of both parties. I think this was a precedent set by Jacob Zuma, and a lot of people are taking their lead from him. But now you're actively campaigning for the MK party. So in your mind, how does this work? You are sticking to your guns. You're still the first DP, but you're campaigning for MKP.
The constitution of Afrika Mayibuye movement does allow dual membership. So
it's simple, it's clear.
Yeah, it allows it. So
there are some serious accusations and allegations, and I want to know what you thought when you read that. I mean, the list was long of things, part of which include these meetings that they say you held with Jacob Zuma and others without a mandate from the Mayibuye leadership. How did that happen? Tell us a bit about those meetings, the purpose, what happened there?
No, the president of Afrika Mayibuye is very controlling. You can't tell me that I cannot meet President Jacob Zuma. I know him personally. I'm a member of Unauthorized party. So what right do they have to tell me that I'm not allowed to meet President Jacob Zuma? And he's a family friend. My godmother is close friends with the Zumas. So it was a personal meeting. I had to go and say sorry to the president of Unauthorized party, because whatever that the MK said about Floyd Shivambu, they were true. So I had to go and submit myself to the president to say, you know what, Baba, I'm very sorry to have left the way that I did. I was just led by emotions, because remember when Floyd Shivambu was demoted from being a Secretary General to going back to Parliament. There were a lot of things that were said. And since I know him from the Economic Freedom Fighters as my Deputy President, you know, I felt very sorry for him. And I was led by emotions, and that was my mistake, you know. And
how does someone trust a leader who, A, can be led by their emotions in the way that you describe in a senior leadership position, with major, I mean, these have major impacts, the way that people see you, you know, as a leader. Do you believe that in any way undermines that leadership? Yes, it does definitely undermine the leadership. It's just that from the onstart, I liked the ideologies of Floyd Shivambu. You know, he's very outspoken, he's young, he's vibrant. Even when he recruited me from the Umkhonto weSizwe Party to form Afrika Mayibuye movement, I was like, okay, you know what? He says that the Afrika Mayibuye movement will be a progressive force. So I won't be moving far from the political agenda of the revolution. Do you understand? And I did send a WhatsApp to the president, Jacob Zuma, before I started with Mayibuye. And also I sent the Deputy President, Dr. John Hlophe, an email to say, you know what, I've been approached by Comrade Floyd Shivambu to start a new formation, but I'm not doing this because there's anything wrong with the Umkhonto weSizwe Party. It's just that, you know, I need to support him and I also need to grow politically. What was the response to that? No, there was no response at all. Crickets, blue ticks? No, not really. I don't think Parliament members read their Parliament email addresses. They use Gmail or Yahoo. So I don't know if you received it, but tonight... Yeah, but you say you're close friends with the former president. No, I'm talking about Dr. John Hlophe. Okay. Yes, I sent him an email, but... Right. So you didn't tell former President Jacob Zuma that? No, I sent him a WhatsApp. And he responded? No, he didn't. But crickets again then, right? Not really, because you can never say when there's no blue tick. I mean, he's an old man, maybe he doesn't read his WhatsApp. But he found your WhatsApp when you wanted to meet with him for tea, or the meeting that you had? No, I called the PA. Okay. Yeah, okay. And then he met me and he forgave me, and so hence I'm wearing... Yeah, he met you and forgave you, sorry, pick that up? Yeah, he met me and he forgave me from leaving MK Party to form Afrika Mayibuye movement. So where are you now in all of this? As you say, you're going to fight tooth and nail. Mm-hmm. You want your disciplinary process, but do you want to stay in Afrika Mayibuye Party? I mean, I formed it. I mean, if you remember, on the 19th of June, we made a press briefing and we called everyone, and I gave it my all. I was fully committed. But you feel, I mean, you have quite strong feelings around Floyd Shivambu, and you have some views around his leadership as well, whether his leadership style reflects collectivism within the movement as you describe it. But you talk about strong-handed, one-man, you know, leadership style. You've talked about being power-drunk with ego, ego blinding one's wisdom. So state for us unequivocally tonight, because we know that, you know, politics moves quite quickly, Nolubabalo. So tonight you could be feeling different to 3 a.m. when you received that message and that instruction this morning. Where are you tonight with regard to Afrika Mayibuye Party and with regard to Floyd Shivambu specifically? With Afrika Mayibuye, I'm still a member. You want to stay in? Why not? Okay. Why would you form something and you want to leave it? Mm-hmm. I formed it and I recruited, I mobilized, I brought in people into Afrika Mayibuye, and I told them that this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to do. And I can't just leave my constituency like that. Okay. And Floyd? I'm very disappointed in his leadership. I really had high regard. His leadership skills are around gossip, you know, and I think he's a coward. He can't face women. I mean, he could have called me and sat down with me to have a one-on-one and spoke to me like when he asked me to come and start a party. But when I wanted one-on-ones with him, he said, no, he can't meet me one-on-ones. When I saw that there's some funny things going on in the organization. Like what? They'll have meetings without me. They deployed Dr. Nozi, the women movement's president, without me. But I was invited to come to a meeting where she was introduced. And it came as a shock to me that how can they deploy someone without me knowing as the second in charge in the whole organization. We'll try to reach out to Floyd. We did actually try to reach out to them, but we'll reach out to Floyd to respond to what you've just said about him being a coward and somebody who can't face women. Let's go back to some of the issues that the party is, or that the movement is raising with you. Mm-hmm. Via News 24, Afrika Mayibuye alleges that discussions involved these, and you saw the amount, something like 500 billion. You laugh. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yes. What do you say to this? This is for our viewers who don't know what we're talking about. $500 billion US, no doubt, in direct investments to establish black dollar billionaires with Jacob Zuma, and that you lacked authority. So talk to us about that. I mean, you've already given some of your response. As I said, my meeting with President Jacob Zuma was personal. So we did not, those are pure fabrications.
They just want to dent my name, you know, in a way that they will discriminate me as a woman. This is gender-based violence. You don't just write things that you don't have proof of. I want proof. In the letter that I responded to, all the allegations, I asked for proof. The only two things in that, in those allegations was the meetings that I had, you know, and I explained myself. And even those two meetings, I'm the one who reported to the organization out of transparency because Mayibuye is surrounded by gossip. Everything is about gossip. So I decided to save myself to say, you know what, let me just explain myself so that should anyone who have met me when I had the meeting, because there were a lot of people in the hotel, maybe they will call Floyd because Floyd does have people that he talks to in all these organizations, you know, out of gossip still, you know. So I can't be led through gossip and I can't be charged over gossip. I need proof.
And certainly, again, if we do get an interview with them, we will certainly ask what backs up these claims that they make or the reasons why they fired you. But it's interesting to me, Nolubabalo, two things. One is it doesn't seem as if Floyd will make way for you. So you're stuck in a paradigm where both of you are going to be there if you want to stay.
Afrika Mayibuye is said to be the people's movement. Why is it around about Floyd? It's supposed to be the people's movement.
Well, you said you joined because of him. You've just said
I understand, but what he sold to me was this is going to be a people's movement, not a Floyd's political party. So I joined knowing that I'm going to be in a movement because I'm an activist.
But why would you want to be around people that you have just described as openly misogynistic? To quote you, I mean, these are not my words.
Yes.
I'm just putting back what you said.
I'm one of the founders. I'm a founding member of Afrika Mayibuye movement.
Yeah.
I can't just be removed like that. I can serve in other political party like MK party because even me joining MK party was because I knew that MK party is the only hope for the country. We can see that the ANC-led government failed dismally. And the only hope for South Africa to regain its power back is through a MK party. Yeah. I mean, we can see that there's a high unemployment rate, there is inequality, there's poverty, and the ANC government is doing nothing in this GNU. Do you understand?
Talking about GNU, though, it's interesting because I want to talk about the GPU. We had some news, which was the story I shared before you sat in the chair, of the NFP withdrawing its support for KZN Premier and IFP deployee. This is Thami Ntuli. And they're basically saying, listen, we want to shake things up here, and we think that MKP should be in the seat. Do you support that?
Yes, I do. If you look at the principles of Mkondo Wesizwe, the first one that attracted me was Ubuntu. The second one is Pan-Africanism. And the third one is action... It's helping each other, you know, honesty and respect. And we cannot have parties like the ANC and the DA that are so corrupt to be leading the country. Do you understand? Yeah. But if you look at the work that President Jacob Zuma has done in the country, I mean, when last did they build hospitals? It was during the time of Jacob Zuma. Do you understand? So that's why I was like, you know what, my home is the MK party.
So, I mean, again, from the outside in, and there have been criticisms of people belonging to two parties and campaigning for two parties, which is, I think, basically, you know, something one would say is novel and pioneered, mostly by former President Jacob Zuma. You sound a lot more enamored with the MKP. I mean, you're in for a battle there by Afrika Mayibuye. Will you just let it go? I know that you're a founding member, so you hold very strongly to wanting to be a part of that. But given what you've said and the passion with which you speak about the MKP, would you consider just...
No, I'll never leave Mayibuye. Processes must follow. I mean, we just started the party, and processes are not in place.
Well, what do you say to people who are watching us talking right now, watching the developments over the last 3 months since the inception of Mayibuye and thinking, I mean, do I really want to be a part of these guys? What would you say to them? You
know, Mayibuye needs to go under MK party.
Oh.
Yes. I mean, unity in action, that is one of the principles.
But he just left MK. That's why you have this party, the Afrika Mayibuye.
Floyd Shivambu needs to grow, or he needs to be born again, or he needs to go and twasa, so that he can be able to humble himself to elders. I mean, you look at the leadership skills of Jacob Zuma, right? He has the same leadership skills as the Sisulus, the OR Tambos. It's just that Floyd wants to do his own thing, and he's failing already by firing a female first deputy president in his political party over gossip. What kind of leadership is that? He just needs to go under the MK party and get mentored by Jacob Zuma, and that's what.
But he's been there. He
needs to go back. He was not fired there. They just demoted him to go to parliament and for him to come down because he's too arrogant. He needs to come down a bit so that he can be able to lead people.
So, I mean, it's quite a serious thing when you invoke the concept of twasa, and my understanding, which is limited, so please correct me, is to basically go back to sort of ancestral practice and be cleansed. in a way. Just clarify for me what that process is when you say, what do you have in mind?
No, man, he needs to learn people skills. When you go and trust, I mean, I trusted as well, and I became a Sangoma, and I left, you know. You get humbled, you get to learn who a person is, and you get to understand how to treat other people. Floyd can't treat people. You can't tell me as a deputy president that you cannot have a one-on-one with me.
So he should become a Sangoma, Floyd?
No, not a Sangoma, but I'm saying he must just go, if he's a Christian, he must get born again to the core, so that he can be able, whatever spirit that is working in him, to calm down so that he can be able to lead people.
But Nolubabalo, you're now suggesting that he is possessed, which is quite a serious thing to say.
No, I'm not saying he's possessed. What I'm saying is whatever that is happening in him, not to be able to meet people halfway. Because why can't he have a one-on-one with me? To sit down with me and say, listen, I can see that there's problems here, and how do we sort it out? Not to just listen to gossip and just fire me like that. I mean, I committed and I spent so much into Mayibuye, informing Mayibuye for them to just, reject me like that. It's very painful. I don't want to lie. I'm hurt.
I'm going to leave it right there, and we will offer Floyd Shivambu and others the right to respond to some of the things that you're saying.
Oh, wow. There you have it, my people. But there's a few things that I would like to actually outline that I think you should ponder on. Number one, Floyd Shivambu, my people, previously worked with the MK party. Let's be honest with that. And he was active from event organizer all the way up to secretary general. Well, he said he was supposed to be a deputy president, according to him. But the point is, he understands Jacob Zuma's political mindset. He understands Zuma's emotions, especially when it comes to his departure from the MKP. He knows Zuma was not happy. And Nolubabalo may dismiss Floyd's insight and as maybe irrelevant. She may downplay this whole thing. I went to Ubaba. It was a personal meeting. There's nothing else to it. But Floyd knows better. He knows Zuma. So whether she says it was nothing, he knows what this means. So he may have potentially received inside information or maybe intelligence about Nolubabalo's actions and true intents. So exactly how she has also explained the fact that when she went to this hotel, there were people around that Floyd knows that would have seen her. But I don't think the people who saw her actually said accurate things, which would obviously make Floyd Shivambu worry. It is very valid. Now, what I think currently is that Nolubabalo, my people, could kind of gain some ground if she happens to have a leverage, or she leverages her knowledge of what Mayibuye is doing to appeal to Zuma. So this is what they're doing. I'm a snitch. I'm going to snitch on that guy. He hurt you. So I know how we can hurt him back. I know what he's doing. I know how he thinks, stuff like that. Even if it's not for Zuma, but for the party itself in general. However, in most cases, my people, if she decides to do this, traitors often win temporarily. If she ever does this, already we have seen she is not a loyal person. Unfortunately, no one, if I was Zuma, I would not trust her. If I was Floyd, I would not trust her. I don't think she is trustworthy enough to continue with whatever she's doing personally. So now they are obviously going to later expose or maybe disqualify her from anything that would happen for her political path. So this, my people, actually at some point shows me she really is seeming to be following Floyd's political path, because the key difference here is she is attempting to return to the MKP, which is different from Floyd, because the very party that she left once is the one she's going back to. But Floyd actually left a party to another party, you see? So the question will still remain, will MKP members trust her again? After seeing all these things, listening to everything, will they be happy to work with her? Do they trust her to work well with her? Is she going to be eligible enough to live in peace and to work with MKP members in peace, considering what has currently happened? That is a dark cloud that might follow her for a very long time. And another thing is, she may definitely face some form of discrimination. She can be labeled as a sellout, and this is obviously due to this particular departure, that she has gone to Mayibuye and wants to come back. But this is just my thoughts. Please do let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's take a look, just a look at all the aspersions that you think would be going on in this story. Thank you so much for listening to this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. It's from me to you. Until next time, bye.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Oh, allegedly. My people, my people, my people.